Welcome to another gorgeous day on planet Earth and another day of Dose of Did You Know, where intriguing, inspiring, unique individuals come to talk about love and life and how it brought them here today. And with me are two awesome people, individually and collaboratively. Is that a word or did I make that up? I never know when I make words up or not. I'm like, could have been a Dannyism right there. I don't know. But Tommy and Susie, how are you guys today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm fantastic. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yes, happy MLK Day.
Right. That is right. I feel like we were talking before. I've been on this like travel, time zone, events, life for the last like couple weeks. I don't even know like what month I'm in, but it's okay. Today we're here. And before we get started talking about, you guys have a lot of really cool stuff going on and how you guys connected. But first, tell the world a little bit about who you are. Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm Susie Schaefer, founder of Finish the Book Publishing, and Tommy and I are launching Movie News Productions. So yeah, we're super excited to be here and be able to collaborate on writing and editing screenplays.
So exciting. So excited. Okay, Tommy.
All right. I'm Tommy Anderson. And in addition to what Susie said, I'm an author. Susie's helped me with some of the publishing aspects and getting me to #1 on Amazon, which thank you very much. And she's a fantastic publisher. I am an author, a screenwriter. Susie and I both have been acting and veteran and involved in the veterans community quite extensively here in California.
Yeah. So how did you two meet?
Well, we met because I was working on Tommy's first book, Haboob Wind, helping him with book marketing and getting his book to #1 on Amazon. And we just started chatting about his future books, and he's actually working on a second book, 2 Million Steps, which is coming out probably in the next couple of months. And he had told me that he was doing screenwriting, and I was fascinated by that. I have a background in acting and also in radio. And I said, I'd love to take a stab at editing your screenplay. And he said, great, go for it. And so did that, and we worked on the process together, and we really found that we just connected really well. We almost finish each other's sentences sometimes, and that we work really well to bring screenplays to life. So, and it just made a lot of sense for us to go ahead and create this company together.
Well, I tell you, when you find that connection of being able to work with someone, it's eye-opening and things just flow. That's how I feel like with Travis. We MC these veteran events together and do these co-interviews. And it's such this easy play back and forth. Greatness is going to come of it because it's just like the way life is supposed to be. It's like that little gift God gives you of that person and that connection. But I want to go back to this production company. So is it basically all people that have this idea of a screenplay and they want to create? Is it all movies? Is it theater, or is it a little bit of everything, or is it evolving entity?
Well, right now we're dealing with movies and movie shorts, and I've got the movie I wrote is going to be released on February 25th in San Diego, Life After Oblivion. And we've won numerous writing awards for that. But I want to say, when Susie and I work together, when a screenwriter writes something, he or she writes it as their perspective. The one thing I found out with working with Susie, and the reason why we work so well, is she looks at it from another angle. That of a woman, I look at it as a guy, because men and women don't think the same always. And I think that's what makes it work, because she brings in the woman's perspective, I bring in the man's perspective. We mold it together and it works. And it's like screenplay that we wrote together based on the book by Laurie Roberts, who writes fiction, Where the Sweetgrass Grows. We won Best Screenplay at the New York Movie Awards, and we won Best Screenplay at the Toronto Independent Movie Awards. And this is like our first collaborative screenplay. But right now, I wrote another short, a military one called At Dawn's Early Light, that and then, of course, Susie went into it and fixed up where Tommy messes up. And it turns into a beautiful story. We're producing this movie ourselves under Movie Muse. We already have an award-winning director, Josh Lang, who did Apache Warrior. He's our director. We've signed a couple actors already, and this is a person we never expected we would be at, right, Susie?
Exactly. Things have actually taken off very quickly for us, partly because of the success of Where the Sweetgrass Grows. Winning those awards really gave us kind of that credibility on, we're good at what we do. So, so when it came to...
And you have an award to show for it, so no one can argue.
Yes, no. Exactly. So when it came to working on At Dawn's Early Light, it just made sense for us to go ahead and work on this short together. One of the things we both love to do is obviously support veterans and veteran projects. So that's very near and dear to our hearts.
So I have a question, because Tommy, as the veteran, you wrote this, and then Susie, you're coming in as a woman that's not a veteran and, editing and giving your opinion. Was there things that you learned, or a different side of Tommy that you learned? Never thought
of? Tommy is a kick in the pants, I tell you. He's great to work with. I adore him. He's, as you know, he's a veteran. He's a former firefighter. And so, I love supporting his work. And he's very talented. So it makes it easy for me to come in and say, okay, let's do some cleanup on this script. And let's make sure that with that, we're speaking in terms of really good character development, so that both the male and the female characters in it are well represented. In addition to that, we also make sure that we're tying in a significant amount of diversity, because that's really what production companies are looking for these days.
Mm-hmm. Is it different? I want to go back to this, like when he's writing. Tommy, do you write like you remember, or is it a little bit of what it was like using your military background and then through life, and then Susie, you come in and you create it from a civilian side of things?
I do some from my military and fire background. Plus, I'm an amateur historian. I read history all the time. My 2 Million Steps is a historical novel about the 25th Wisconsin in the Civil War, from their inception to the end of the war. So I really do a lot of research. As a lot of writers and people in entertainment business do, I watch movies all the time, and I watch them for entertainment, and then I watch them for character development, and I can figure out where the screenplay is going and things like that. And we're constantly learning. And Susie is a super intuitive. Like she said, we both are actually, and we both, like she said, can finish each other's sentences, and she can know where I'm coming from, and then show me that where I'm making an error, because we get our blinders on, and then I can see that and go, oh yeah, okay, you're right. You're right, and we do it back and forth, and that's what makes our writing really, really interesting. And I think we spent 80 hours doing the rewrite on Sweetgrass, which is a lot. It's a lot of time, because writing a screenplay from a book is one of the most difficult things you can do, because you have to basically create a new story, and you have to do it from the perspective of somebody watching the movie. When you read a book, you see everything in your mind's eye. And that's right. One reason when you go there and say, well, it's not like the book. Well, yeah, it's not. It's not supposed to be. So we have to create these images that will go along the storyline that you'll remember, and we're really good at that. I mean, when I didn't know how much time we spent on this, because all of a sudden we're looking at it, it's like, oh, we've been on Zoom here for God ever, and we need a break, and we just get into it, and it's so easy to work with these characters. And when we build these characters, they're our characters, and we care about them and care about where they're going. We
Yeah.
hate them together. You know, when we create a antagonist that we cannot stand, we hate that person together. but it's part of the creative process.
Yeah, I love that. I never thought of that about when you would watch a movie that you had read the book before, and you're like, oh, that's not what I thought. I never thought of the process of why it's like that. So thanks for enlightening me. I love being enlightened of new aspects of things. So now that you have this production company, I'm so curious about all of this stuff. It's like the behind the scenes, the secret things you never know. You just see the end product and you're like, oh, that was easy for somebody. Will you guys have a hand in the, not necessarily the directing, but maybe the directing of it, or like your input to see it through to how it's supposed to be, or do you just give it up?
It really depends on the agreement that we come to with the production company. So we would love to have that kind of collaboration and interaction with the production company, but it really depends on if they're just going to pick it up and run with it, or if they really want us involved. So we can go either way. But the great thing about that is that when we're working on a screenplay, we kind of actually go back to, if it's based on a novel, we'll go back to the author and ask them, what are the main points in your book or your story that really you don't want changed? Like, what are the ones that are like, you don't want this character's name changed, or you want this character to be a woman versus a man, or something like that. And so we are able to like really fine tune the details of that before we even get started. And then of course too, there's a lot of things that change because we are looking at things like production cost, what's logistic as far as the actual filming, and how many characters will be in the cast and things like that. So there's a whole different process. But the more the work that we do on the front end before we even pitch it to a production company, the more they're going to understand what the vision for that movie can be.
Okay. Interesting. It sounds very similar to like if you're creating a documentary or things like that. It seems like it's a bit of the same process, except for you're not writing it from a book or something, a screenplay from the book. Is that true to say? Are there similar alignments there?
Oh, it's similar in the production side, yes. Every production, be it a documentary, a movie, or whatever, has a screenplay that they follow. And the process is the same. The big thing with us taking it from a novel is you have to convert it from the written word into a visual object.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different writing style. And I get corrected on that by somebody all the time. It's like, you're not writing a book, you're writing a screenplay. I won't say who she is.
I have no idea who that is. What do you find, Susie, is the biggest thing of writing, the biggest difference from people writing a book as opposed to screenplay? What are you seeing that they tend to do?
Well, the biggest difference is that when people are writing a book, they're usually just creating their story, creating their characters. There's a lot of detail that goes into that. When you take it from a book format into a screenplay, you have to edit that down quite a lot because you really can't have as much detail. So a 300-page book might result in about 120 pages in a script. So you have to excerpt the pieces that are going to make the movie move forward or make the documentary move forward, and that create good character development and show versus tell. So you have to create visual scenery or impact, whereas in a book you can actually describe it in words. That's the biggest difference.
Do you think it's harder, you guys, to do like a book off of someone's life and create it into a screenplay? If someone writes a book about their life, whatever it is, and then they want to put it into a screenplay, do you find that to be harder as something that they just imagined and created?
Well, we really haven't taken somebody's life story yet. However, I think we both have been approached from people who would like us to. And that, I think, is something we're going to have to delve some research into, because it would definitely be a more cooperative agreement with the person you're writing about.
Mm.
There's a Medal of Honor winner who lives in San Diego, and I talked to him 2 months ago. He wants to write a book about it, and I'm thinking, now, how the heck are we going to do this? Because you got to do it justice.
Yeah.
You really have to do it justice, and it's not a made-up story where we have creative license. It's one where we actually have to tell his story and the humanity behind it,
Mm.
and how it's changed his life and what he does now, working with veterans and other groups. It's very humbling, and if we take something like that on, we got to do it right. We have
Yeah.
to do it right.
Yeah. Do you find that there are certain things from your personal life that have kind of brought you to this passion that you have now for, this, it's this creative side, this art, it's a very artistic side.
Well, I always had a creative part to me. I like to write little stories, and that even when I was in the fire department, I did a lot of photography and art. And my initial thing was, when I retired from the fire department, I wanted to get into professional photography. I tried it for a little while, and I was given the opportunity to work within some of the segments of Hollywood behind the scenes. And then it just took off, and it was like I could write, and it just kind of was a process. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over several years.
What about you, Susie? I mean, you've done so many things.
Yeah, I think that being a writer from a young age and being an avid reader really kind of launched me into, creating that business with Finish the Book Publishing to help authors write and create and publish their books successfully. And of course, my experience in radio and also acting lent that other side of the creative process.
Mm-hmm.
I spent over 30 years in corporate America. So I really had a very eclectic career path.
Yeah.
And all of my experience have played into how I developed my business. And one of the things I realized after working in corporate America for so many years was that I was really missing that creative side. And so, being able to learn the publishing industry and help authors really helps with that. And then, of course, to understanding how it is to be an actor and understand what it's like to be on set and understand the writing and production. I can remember that I would just even hang out, even after my role was done, I would hang out on set just so I could watch the production and watch the film crew, because I found all of that very fascinating. So I think all of those things have lent to me being able to help people tell their stories in books and also in screenplays.
Well, it's very cool. I always I'm fascinated by humans and how we think and what drives us and things like that. And I love when you look at your past, and then you have a passion or something inside you. And sometimes it is meant to be into your career. And then other times it's just meant to be your hobby and your passion and, that thing that fuels your soul. So it's neat to see how you guys, total different backgrounds, different places, kind of come together and make a business, make this collaboration work and give. And you both are servers at the same time. You serve individuals, which is kind of tells a lot about somebody.
Yeah, I think we both just come from a real background of service to others. And so, we're just doing our part.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, you guys totally are. You have won my heart from, the first time I met Tommy, and then he introduced me to you. So I'm very, very thankful for that. I'm super excited to see, to read your new book that's coming out, Tommy, to see this, when is it, in February that the screenplay is going to go into production or be done? I lost my train here.
My Life After Oblivion that I did with several other veterans is going to be released in San Diego on the 25th of February. Ours It depends on a number of factors. The director right now is working on, actually, he sent me an email this morning, said, I'm out with another veteran who is a cinematographer. We're doing site surveys. And they jumped right on it, and they're out and about.
Yeah.
One thing I have to say about the cool thing about us producing this at Dawn's Early Light is we are the executive producers for this film. So we are directly involved with the production. And the director has the creative license to, because it's his vision that'll go on film, but he consults with us on what we think about this or that. So we have a more involved role, which I find really exciting because I've worked as an associate producer on a couple of projects, but never the person that we give the okay, yeah, do this, do that. So, and Susie and I are just a powerhouse team. What can I say?
Yeah. Totally. Really quickly, we have people out there asking, like, how can people get in contact with you? He knows some people that would totally benefit from what you guys are doing. So what's the best way?
So I think the best way is we're still working on our website for Movie Muse Productions. Like I said, this has come on very quickly for us. And so the best way for people to reach out to us is to just contact us through my website at finishthebookpublishing.com. There's a little consultation button. People can just click that, and then that'll get you right on my calendar. And then we can go ahead and talk about next steps. If you're using a book that you want a screenplay written from, if you have an idea, so however that looks, then your first contact will be with me, and then we can kind of figure out where we go from there.
Perfect. I'll make sure I write that in. And it is. She will get whatever is here out in a very simple way. I'm all about simplicity. Life does not need to have to be hard. It needs to be simple and fun while you're doing it, but you definitely need a plan of action so you can execute those things. And I know you get that from you guys. I know that on my personal. That's my personal plug, only because I only plug what I know, and now I know, and so there that is. But before I let you go, I ask that you both answer this last question with the first thing that comes to your mind. You've done it once before. You will do it again. We'll start with ladies first. In this moment right now, Susie, what does love mean to you?
Oh, love means compassion and holding space for one another as we transition on our globe into a whole new world. So yeah, sending all of you love and much love to all of our veterans.
Perfect. And Mr. Tommy Anderson.
What I describe as of today in love is friendship that grows into family.
I love it, guys. Thank you so much for starting off this beautiful week with the two of you, bringing so much value into this world and also sharing how you kind of got there, what made that happen. I hope it resonates with people out there. And to everyone out there that is watching, remember, as always, love hard, love pure, and love proactive. Until next time, we will see you. Take care.